Okay, Arizona Alien Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
That
I got
was published by Workbook Press about a year ago.
it. Mm-hmm.
And now I did not plan this. It just, you know how things happen, right?
Yeah.
This book, it's going to scare some people. It has 666 pages,
Wow.
right on the dot. We didn't plan it that way. It just happened. So that's a really interesting story. With Workbook Press, they let me put links into my books. Now,
Nice.
what is really cool about that is that all of my books sell both paperback and ebook, especially except for some of my books that are ebook only because they're huge. Okay, let me explain why. I've published multi-language books through both Workbook Press and Simon & Schuster's Archway. Simon
Mm-hmm.
& Schuster's Archway did a multi-language book. The title it's an ebook only. It's Radiant Destiny. And you can just, if you Google my name, Paul G. Escudero, you can see all my book covers, of course. That's spelled Escudero. And so Radiant Destiny is in English, Chinese, and Pinyin.
Wow.
So
Pinyin.
Pinyin, it's the reason why I did that was to help people learn how to read and write Chinese. Okay.
Okay.
And I bet you that if somebody takes and puts some effort into Radiant Destiny, reading the Chinese and the Pinyin is the phonetic spelling of Chinese. And that's what in China, they teach all the school children Pinyin, which speeds up their learning process of Mandarin by double, triple the speed. So the books, if you go to like Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whoever, right, and you look at those books, you can click on look inside and you'll see how those books are structured paragraph by paragraph, English, Chinese, Pinyin, English, Chinese, Pinyin, English, Chinese, Pinyin. So you don't have to scroll very far to read as you're studying.
Mm.
Now, Radiant Destiny is all black and white, but in that book, it's handled the way the Chinese do when they have a name that does not translate. They put it in parentheses. They have some Chinese characters to try to kind of like explain what it all means. But in my book, Giappa Second Edition, which is part of a trilogy, I actually color-coded the names and devices and things. And the reason why I did that is it's quite an extraordinary book. It's big. It's in 4 languages: English, Chinese, Pinyin, and German. And so the color for the name, say, for example, Quan Gob is the main character in the book. He's an alien from the Merginki civilization. And Giappa's a mining planet where the war is fought over blue diamonds for their lasers, for their spaceships, right? So Quan Gob, he's the pilot of a scout class spaceship. And so throughout the book, wherever you see Quan Gob, whether it's in English, Chinese, Pinyin, or German, it's going to be red. The name Monachi is his partner, co-pilot, and later his spouse. She's in green. There's a character who is abducted from Southern California from a place called Scripps Ranch. Gee whiz, I wonder who used to live there.
Unlock the secrets of a better quality of life with Manifestation Psychic Emporium. Experience a spiritual transformation that resonates with your soul. Offering an array of services from candles, conjure oils to spiritual services such as cleansing, healing, mending broken relationships, and much more. Stephanie has been featured on iHeartRadio, radio talk shows, and podcasts around the world. Stephanie is a certified Reiki practitioner, spiritual healer, paranormal investigator, and intuitive life coach with 20+ years of experience. With a global clientele, she has mended broken relationships and much more worldwide. Visit mpsychic.com to shape your destiny. Elevate your life today. Call 713-858-5777 for a brighter future and better quality of life. Until November, a portion of the proceeds goes to Operation Underground Railroad to stop child trafficking and to help bring them home. Our impact: 4,000 plus predators arrested, 6,000 plus survivors recovered, 1,000 plus operations supported. Please raise awareness for the cause and go to ourrescue.org.
So anyways, Vance is abducted and he's taken back to the Merginki civilization. And throughout the book, his name is Dark Purple. And eventually, towards the end of the book, they're going to go on a big journey to the Andromeda galaxy. And so they send a doctor along, Dr. Kara. Well, Dr. Kara and Vance, they kind of get kind of like interested in each other, and like a little romance may have sprung out of that. So Dr. Kara is in pink throughout the book. Now there's cities that are in black, but in the overall text, in the overall scheme of things, the English portion of the book is all black except for the color coding. And by the way, Workbook Press published that book, just so that you know.
I got you.
So throughout that book, the English is black, the German is purple, and the Chinese is blues. So when you go to the different sections, you're scrolling up and down, it goes English, Chinese, or excuse me, English, German, Chinese pinyin, English, German, Chinese pinyin. Then the overall colors follow. Workbook Press, about a month ago, started work on another 4-language book of mine. That's the name of the book is Drones, Robots, Trains, and Aliens. Notice the first word is drones. What's happening now in the world? Drones. Drone attack on Moscow. Isn't that book kind of timely? I think it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's some cool drone stuff in there, and I originally wrote that book in 2016. I published it on Amazon Kindle, and then ultimately I ended up pulling all my books out of Amazon Kindle. I just go from now on. I'm just going to go to a regular publisher, and I'm republishing them through regular publishers like Workbook Press, Archway, and I probably will publish a book pretty soon again with Dorrance. I'm actually in negotiations with Dorrance on another book, but that one's probably not going to be out for a while. So right now, believe it or not, Workbook Press is actually publishing 3 novels for me.
Wow.
Last year I published 7 novels, and they're all big books like this.
How do you do that? How do you write big books like that? I mean, literally speaking, it's like
Wild
to me,
imagination.
it's hard. To me,
By the
it's
way,
hard.
this book here, the United States Space Force, published by this is a Dorrance book. It's up for a movie deal, and in August 29th, there's going to be a cinema trailer for it.
My gosh.
I actually have a movie deal right now that I'm the co-writer on, believe it or not.
Congratulations.
And
I don't wait, hold on a second. Stop. I want to get inside of your brain for a second, because literally speaking, I mean, people have these vivid imaginations, and they have these ideas and they write it down, but they don't get it into a complete thought. Like, how do you do that? How do you get yourself to actually focus down on that complete thought to complete it? You know what I mean? Like scatterbrain kind of person that has this big imagination, but they just can't seem to get it on paper correctly. How do you do that?
Okay, so it doesn't matter how you get it down on paper in the beginning. Okay, first thing, all future writers need to understand this: the first draft is always going to be junk. It's nothing. Your first draft is really virtually nothing, and it actually stinks. The first draft always stinks. Okay, then you rewrite it. You start at the very beginning and you rewrite it all over again from beginning to end. And I try to rewrite my novels at least 7 times. Okay, so all these big thick books, you're talking 400, some pages, right? Some of my books, like I told you, Arizona Alien Adventures, 666 pages, you know.
Well, actually, it's 668. You got the cover.
Okay, right. This is another book published by Workbook Press, Tossetti Incident. This is a splendid book, and it's pretty thick too. It's I think what 630 some pages. But anyways, back to keeping it all together and whatnot. I have some tricks that I do. You know, at the very bottom, at the very end of my books, because I use a lot of Chinese names. I like Chinese names. I like Chinese. So at the very bottom of my book, I always have a glossary that I build as I go. And that's your memory keeper. Like, you know, you have to have consistency in characters, not only the
Right.
consistency in the names, but also the spelling,
Right.
so, you know, so at the very bottom, I have Dramatis Persona, right, which is the characters' names and devices and what have you. And as I'm writing, I'm building as I'm going, and I put everything, new character or new idea or whatever, down in there. And then later on, I can split the page and go bounce back and forth between what I'm writing and what did I say before. That helps me keep track of stuff. So now, you know, really a little insight into all of it, in that before I ever hand that book over to the publisher, I've reread it and reread it, rewrote it at least 7 times, sometimes 10 times, and
Wow.
portions of that book 20 times. When I did my first book, Giappa,
Oh, wow.
which was in 1996, I rewrote chapter 1 40 times, and I rewrote page 1 100 times.
I
So
have no hope. I have no hope. I'm in my like my 4th draft of the first book that I had that's only 66 pages long, but I'm like, no, I don't like this. No, that sucks.
there's another book that's Soylent Caravan that's it's also in negotiations for a movie deal. So I hope
Wow.
I get it. That's a very good book.
I
I
hope
have
so.
I have Confucius, and I actually have a Tang poem in there. So if you study Chinese history, you'll find that they have these 5 poets that are considered the best poets that ever lived. And if you take time to read the 5 Tang poets' work, you will be amazed, because their work transcends time.
Mm.
So in that book, I have a Tang poem. It's a very sad poem, and the general's son died during the trip to planet Earth, where they Soylent Caravan, right? They show up, and they have they're very advanced alien race. They're humanoids. They're 8-10 feet tall, and they weigh 500 pounds. Okay. So they have this ritual where they barbecue humanoids before they go on a big space battle. So I have these 4 groups of people from Honduras that are my characters in the book. And oh, by the way, my Honduras people, they don't get killed, but they are eyewitnesses. So when the FBI, the CIA, and the Mexican National Police start investigating these abductions, and they're finding the carcasses where the aliens barbecued them, they count on these people from Honduras who you know, they're very, you know, they tell it like it is. They're not accustomed to the modern world where people BS everybody, right? So they're very good to the investigators, and their stories are golden, right? So that helps move the story along, and so by the time the aliens reach Earth, the general's son died from space sickness. So later on, after the battles are all over and whatnot, he goes back to their planet, and they have a memorial for his son. And he reads one of these Tang poets, which he got when he was on planet Earth. Plus, he got a whole bunch of Confucius stuff that their artificial intelligence downloaded. Now, I have somebody who wrote a review for me on Amazon that talks about chapter 11 of Soylent Caravan. And chapter 11, I give you an insight into the downside of artificial intelligence. Okay. Artificial intelligence could get actually ugly. And in my book, Sash Andromeda, which is part of the trilogy, it's Giappa second edition, Sash Andromeda. And this book that I showed earlier, Black Raven, this is all part of that trilogy, right? The artificial intelligence entity named Martha, it's very corrupt and very evil. Makes HAL 2000 look like a wimp. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
So
Wow.
now in chapter 11 of Soylent Caravan, artificial intelligence is killing the general's enemies, assassinating them.
Ooh.
Now, little bit of, I mean, I can't hide this stuff forever. Okay. It's going to come out, you know, when you become famous, they find out everything about you. So I have no secrets anymore. I can't keep any more secrets. Everybody's going to know everything about me. Okay. I had a long career working on nuclear submarines, for real. And I did installations, I did certifications, I did inspections, I did technical assistance. I did all kinds of things, you know, relating to those submarines. Therefore, my Facebook page is vastly populated with all kinds of people who knew me from back in my submarine days. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that in that long career spanning decades, okay, I often dealt with people on the telephone or via email that I never met.
Right.
How would I know they're not artificial intelligence? Right?
Oh,
Nowadays, artificial intelligence is getting so good, you may not know you're talking to a computer.
I
Okay.
know. I hate that. And I kind of do it trick questions to find out because it doesn't have the answer to everything. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
So imagine this, and I mentioned this in a couple of my books. Okay. One source I have says the CIA has 138 artificial intelligence projects ongoing. And another source said 180 some. So it may be the 180. The difference between the two is the one that has 180 includes all the black projects that they're doing, right? But anyways, I could see, like in my book, in Soylent Caravan, artificial intelligence is contacting assassins remotely and giving them jobs to go assassinate the general's enemies. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And so I see that coming out of the CIA and the Russians, FSB, used to be called the KGB, Great Britain's MI6, the Chinese MSS. You know, I can see the dates coming where you're going to have artificial intelligence killing people, and they're not going to answer up to anybody because nobody's going to know. Who's going to know? Who's going to check up on it? What if artificial intelligence decides that they no longer like our president and Air Force One takes a dive? You know, all these planes fly on autopilot now, you know?
They do.
And we're going to these self-driving cars, right? And I have some examples in some of my books about, you know, nefarious activities where the self-driving cars, boom, fireball.
Oh my gosh. Don't
I'm
scare
gonna
me.
show you. I'm gonna show you another book that's up for a movie deal. This is Greenland Domes with Daggers and Grozny Demons. And I was told that from a very good source, there's the back cover, by the way, that if I didn't treat Vladimir Putin so well, I got Vladimir Putin and his mistress in that novel. If I didn't treat him so well, I may not be alive.
Oh no.
He liked the book, apparently. Now,
Wow.
you know, I've written about Area 51. Can you imagine that?
I can, because I mean, you have different books. I mean, how many books do you have?
I've published 21 books.
Wow, 51 reasons to ask 5 questions.
51 questions about Area 51.
51.
Right?
Okay, I didn't see the one. Okay.
I'm sorry. So anyways, this book is really a spy novel about Area 51. Now, why would the Russians want to spy on Area 51?
Oh,
Well,
because we got an alien there. And the alien
Yeah, they
ship.
want to know. They want to know what kind of quid pro quo we got going on with the aliens, right? Now, one of the books that Workbook Press is publishing for me right this moment is about a remote viewer. I know this remote viewer. This remote viewer has done a lot of work for the CIA, for MI6, and NATO. This is a real person. One of my interviews I have with her, I have 50,000 words in the interview. Okay,
Oh
so I
my
have an
gosh.
extensive knowledge of her remote viewing. Now I'm going to tell you about her remote viewing, and it's in the book, by the way. She can hear and see what you can hear and see. Isn't that pretty wild? Yeah. She
What?
can be on the other side of the world, and she can see and she can hear. Well, you can see and hear just like in the novel. Okay. And that book will probably be out in a couple of months, would be my guess. You know, I was offered a brand new Corvette for that book. A literary
Oh
agency.
man, don't take no Corvette. Get some money.
Yeah, a literary agency called me up,
No
and they
way.
was ready to hand me over the top of the line Corvette, because they know about that remote viewer book, and how they know about it is one of my former associates at one of my publishers jumped ship and went to another publisher, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm telling him about my future books that I'm working on and what have you. So he knew about the remote viewer. So when he gets to this new literary agency, he tells his new boss they're all about this remote viewer book. And the next thing you know, they're offering me a brand new Corvette, top of the line, the most expensive Corvette I can find. I get to pick it out myself if I would give them that book. I
Oh
said, no,
my
thank you.
gosh.
No,
Oh no.
that remote
I
viewer
mean, you
book,
have.
I'm absolutely convinced that it will be a movie a lot sooner than
I
people
think
realize.
it should be. I thought it was already a movie. Now, literally speaking, you have a very vivid imagination. This is, I mean, you've written books that I'm like, what? Yeah,
Okay, so now
you dream about this?
I'm gonna tease you a little here now.
Oh
Okay,
no. Oh goodness.
this is a teaser for you and the public. How many dog lovers are out there?
Oh my gosh. There are
You love
people that
dogs?
get like the dog headbands and the doggy clothes with the stroller and the this and the that. There's millions, millions.
Okay, so Workbook Press right now is publishing a novel for me. It's 430 some pages now in the font that I gave it to them on, but when they put it into actual paper, it's probably going to be more like 550 to 600 pages. It's going to be what they call a doorstopper. Brooklyn, Galaxy Traveling Talking Dog. Okay. Now this book is
That's gonna be a movie.
major league science fiction.
That's
Okay.
gonna be a movie. That's gonna be a
Now
movie.
I've done my research on talking dogs. Okay. People can laugh, but it's happening. It
Oh, I know.
really
I know.
is happening. Now,
Smokey, Smokey, come here. Watch
it's
this.
the dog.
Smokey, come here. Come here.
Here, boy.
Come here. You gonna say hello? Hello? No, you gotta go say hello. Let's see if I can't get him on the camera. Come here. Can you jump
All
up
right.
for me? You can't jump up for me. You gonna say hello or are you too tired? He says hello. And when he
We'll get to him in a little bit later. No
yeah,
problem.
but let me tell you, he says hello, right? But
Uh-huh.
when I take him outside and there's somebody around me and he doesn't
Right.
like them, he says, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that means he's get out to bite them because he's like, I don't know about these people. I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, he's a smart dog. Smart dog. Mm-hmm.
So in this talking dog book, it's pretty heavy duty science fiction. Okay. Now the first part of the book, and if you go check it out, you're going to find out there's a lot of truth to all this. There's a researcher in Great Britain that wants to help people that had a stroke. And so his ultimate plan is to put a chip in the brain for a stroke victim to give them back their motor functions. You know, the
Right.
left arm, the left
Oh,
leg,
that's
their
already happening.
ability to talk, what have you, right? So to defray the cost, they're going to put a kit together to sell you. And it's going to be a talking dog kit that kit's going to cost you $300,000. And, for a rich person, 300,000 is a drop in the bucket. Why
Right.
wouldn't they want a talking dog, right? But they're going to charge you 100,000 to put it in. No problem. You've seen these service dogs that got the little pouch back things, So what's going to happen is the dogs can't talk mainly because they don't have the proper vocal cords. Okay. But what they'll do is they'll put the chip in the brain. They'll run a couple wires out the neck of the dog right underneath where the service dog thing is. And inside there will be a speaker. The dog will actually talk through that speaker. And also that backpack will have a battery pack to power the chip and also a transceiver so they can remotely monitor the dog. And so you might get a phone call, hey, your dog is hungry, or your dog is not well, take it to the vet immediately. It'll be like built-in computer diagnostics for your dog, okay? Now, I installed $150 million systems, no kidding. And I was the lead, actually. I was the lead guy. I had teams in the early days, IBM, Raytheon, what have you. And in later days, Lockheed Martin, Hughes Aircraft, General Dynamics, you name it. I had all kinds of contractors. I was a gov guy. I had all these contractors working for me, doing these illustrious engineering changes where we got the submarine in the span of 35 to 70 days, depending on how big the job was. Got it and put in all new stuff. So when it goes back out to sea next time, it's actually a new submarine with phenomenal capability. On some of our newer installations on these new submarines, there's more electronics in that one submarine than the entire space shuttle program had combined. So it's massively parallel processed and all kinds of capabilities. By the way, if you go to YouTube, because the Navy has to kind of like dazzle the public to get the tax revenue, So if you go to YouTube, you're going to find there's a bunch of YouTube videos on American submarines, inside tours showing you some of the display technology and some of the stuff that the people that are operating these submarines are looking at. But you can also find the same thing with Russian submarines. I even found some Chinese submarines, some German submarines, French submarines. Oh, by the way, in 2019, France did an outstanding movie about a nuclear submarine. You watch that, I can't remember the name of something Wolf or something. It's a dazzling movie, even if it's in French. But you can get a version with the English subtitles, so you can actually follow along and watch it. When you Google my name, Paul D. Escudero, spelled Escudero, at the top of the selections of Google, one of the things you can select is videos, okay? And when you select those videos, you're going to find that I got some real sexy videos. I got videos that are professionally done. Workbook Press did some of them. Simon & Schuster did some of them. And now my literary agency is doing, they just did one. So when you Google my name and you go to the all option, you'll see the second thing down is my Twitter, links to Twitter, right? And today, right now, one of the very first links you'll see there is a video for this book here, Sanctuary City. Sanctuary City is a 592-page spy novel. It's what James Bond always wanted to do. This is a stratospheric glider. It drops out of a shuttle in space, flies down to the planet. It's a one-man spacecraft to get the spy to the planet, right? Now, what did the recent James Bond movie have in it? It had a glider that popped out of an aircraft that landed part of their mission, right? Who do you think they stole that idea from? There you go. That was published in 2019, by the way.
Wow.
So yeah, James Bond people, I know you ripped me off. I don't really care, I was in New York City for a meeting all the top officials at Simon & Schuster. I met everybody at the top except the CEO himself, who couldn't be there that day because he had some personal business he had to do. But I was there because of this book, 20 Million Years, The Rediscovery of Earth and Mars. And this is a thick book. This is 550 pages. It's also up for a movie deal. It's a very good book. And
Gosh.
reason why I was there at meeting the Simon Schuster's is for that book, even though they did another one for me, the Chinese book, the Radiant Destiny, right? But when you go check out the videos, you're going to see that there's a cinematic trailer now for that book, Sanctuary City. And it's what is really unique about that trailer is I'm also a music composer.
Oh my
My
goodness.
music,
Oh.
my music is on that thing. Would you like to hear the sound? I can put it
Oh
on
my
right now.
gosh, you don't even know, you just touched my heart. I mean, I love the writing of the books, but to put the book with the music is just amazing. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to I'm gonna bring up that video and I'm gonna play the sound. Hopefully it won't blast you too badly. So here's the
aftermath might be devastating soul.
can you hear that okay?
Kaplan, disgraced war spy, finds himself at the crossroads of oblivion and destiny. Purged for unproven loyalty, Evo was sought by a revolution seeking justice. Trained by the formidable Brenda Broyles, a master spy with an iron fist and a complex heart, Evo was thrust into a realm of espionage on alien worlds, using 3D biological printing for covert disguises. Amid danger and deceit, a tempestuous love affair with Brenda unfolds, leading to encounters of vengeance, passion, and an unpredictable romance. Welcome to Sanctuary City, a world interlaced with high-octane missions, calculated risks, and dangerous liaisons. It's a realm where the line between friend and foe is blurred, where the unassuming cabaret singer might be a confidant, where your worst enemy could be orchestrating your fall. From fast-paced interstellar chases to chilling encounters with ruthless spies, every page of this odyssey pulls you deeper into a universe filled with intrigue, revenge, and redemption. Immerse yourself in an adventure where each mission, each twist, and each character could fill novels of their own. Your journey into the unknown begins now.
You like that music?
Oh my gosh.
That's me on the piano, by the way.
And you know what? I couldn't even hear the music. All I heard was the vocals. But if you could send me a link to that, or just give me a link or something,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
a
go
real
ahead and.
simple. You just go to I'll check it now, but I think if you just go to Google and see here and just go to the all option, you can see the very first thing on my Twitter feed is that video.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's by the way, that video is going to be on it's going to be on YouTube pretty soon. I
Okay.
don't know how soon. I think 5 to 6 days is what they said.
Nice.
And then approximately on August 29th, the Space Force book video comes out. So there's going to be move something down here. There's going to be a tremendous video for this Space Force novel. August 29th. And it will also have my music.
Wow.
By the way, if there's some talented divas out there that are interested in singing my music, we could probably make a deal.
That'd be nice.
So anyways, I'm not just about books.
I sing. Hey, me.
By the way, on almost all these books, I did the artwork.
Wow.
Almost an artist. I did a book cover for my friend in Vienna, Austria, who's going to be publishing a book pretty soon. And he told me that's the best book cover he's ever seen in his lifetime. And he actually saw me doing it, and he was just totally amazed how quickly I put that one together. But it's going to be one of those mind blowing. Hey, before I forget, today's my literary agent, Robert Collins. He works for the Bradford Agency, and So today's his birthday, and happy birthday, Robert. Get those movie deals going, baby.
That's
And
right.
you'll be my best friend in the world.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being on the show and for sharing your books and all of your talent and just everything that you do, and then the movie deals and this and that and the other. And I mean, all of the stuff that's going on. This is wonderful. I am just totally just, I don't know. I'm just happy for you. This is just wonderful. How do you, I mean, okay, so you literally write how many books a year?
Well, it's their works in their works, they're going on. Like right now I'm writing 3 books and a screenplay. So that's 4 actually total. Okay. I hope that I get at least 3 of them published this year, 3 of those. One of them is ready to go. All I got to do is what they call the polish edit on half the book. So the book has been polish edited for the first half, but I stopped it so I can get on to this. I'm doing another 4-language book. By the way, the book Drones, Robots, Trains, and Aliens, which Workbook Press is producing now, should be out very, very soon. Very, very soon. It's in Japanese, Romanji, which is like Pinyin in Chinese, Italian, and English. And the reason for the Italian is I'm a train buff. I love trains. Okay. And I have 1,000 Italian friends in Italy who are train buffs. And by the way, the sports people that go crazy about sports, they got all their jerseys and hats and everything else, right? I'm gonna tell you what, train buffs are just as tight.
Awesome.
These 1,000 Italian train buff friends of mine, they are just totally the nicest people I ever met in my lifetime. They're people, all 1,000 of them are, every one of them is an individual that you wish was your best friend. These guys are really super, I can't say enough for them. Also got about 1,000 Spanish friends. I'm very hot down in Argentina and Brazil right now, and Canada of all places, which is kind of surprising. I would say that Argentina and Canada are 2 of my best markets right now, but also there's a bunch of German bookstores that sell my books. Outside the United States, probably Great Britain has the most stores that sell my books. My books sell around the world. And the top bookstore in Moscow sold my book, and you can actually find that bookstore on Google, but you can't get to it because they're shut off. Everything going to Russia is shut off, right?
Yeah.
But you can see the link is there. So when they turn the switch, they can start getting information back and forth. Then you'll be able to go back. You'll be able to get into that bookstore. Right. In Taiwan, I have, because I got two Chinese books and I got a 3rd one coming. Right. In Taiwan, I have 6 major booksellers that sell my books, and that's how a lot of my books get into China. You get these Chinese businessmen to go to Taiwan because they're contractors or contracting officials. I mean, it works both ways. Taiwan does contract work for China, and China does contract work for Taiwan on from everything you can think of, from consumer products to electronics to you name it. And so they're always coming and going. And so when these Chinese guys stop in Taiwan for their normal business, they go home with a suitcase full of books, and some of them books are mine. Okay.
Wow.
But I have Chinese friends, by the way, and a growing number of Chinese friends, and they all know that I love China. There's a lot of things about China I really love. China has some amazing stuff to go explore. Like, first of all, China has the largest number of pyramids in the world. There are some blow your mind pyramids in China, and some of them are carefully guarded. You can't get near them. Chinese don't want anybody near them. So I would love to have a tour of one of those pyramids, but obviously they want to protect the ancients. They don't want them pilfered and what have you. And I think they're afraid of what happened to in Egypt, right? It all got moved to France. Napoleon, right?
Yeah. Wow.
back in 2015, 2016, I was looking for spiritual guidance, spiritual experiences, what have you. So I read the Hindu Bhagavad Gita in its entirety, and also the version I had Sanskrit in it. And I actually put forth an effort to learn to read it in Sanskrit, but it just became too exhaustive, and I wanted to get the book done. So I halfway through it, I stopped reading the Sanskrit and I just did the English only. So I have a lot of the knowledge of the Hindu religion and Lord Krishna and all that in my mind. And so I started writing this book about reincarnation. Okay, whoops. So this is a major book about reincarnation. It's a thick book. It's a big book, and it's a science fiction book with reincarnation. Okay, but anyways, I started, as you know, the Oppenheimer movie's out now. You know, Oppenheimer read the Bhagavad Gita his entire adult life, so it really got to him. And I've speculated, and I've actually put this in my book, one of my books. What drove Oppenheimer to read the Bhagavad Gita every day is that the Hindus believe there's life spread through the universe on all the planets. Okay. And the reason why they believe that is they had ancient alien visitors that went to India 6,000 years ago on spaceships. They had them. They really had the visitors. Now, some people claim that's all fiction and BS, but no, it's not. It's really how it really was. So that's why they know a lot about the universe. They have had, okay, who we call God, they call Lord Krishna. Who the Hindus, or excuse me, the Muslims call Allah. You know, Catholics, Jews, what have you, call God, right? Well, Lord Krishna is the God in the Hindu religion, and there's a lot of correlation between Lord Krishna and Jesus Christ and God and everything else, right? So it's all sort of like, it gets back to the same focal point,
Right.
you know, what it's all about, you know. So when I started writing this book on reincarnation, which is, it's broken up into 4 sections. So there's 4 reincarnations. And as these people are living their lives in that section of the book, there's romances involved and what have you. And those people believe that they were reincarnated and they knew each other in a prior life. That's what the conclusion they come to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that carries through on all 4 of these instances, right?
Wow.
Now 2 of those sections is a robot. I like robots. I sneak a robot and I sneak a train into almost every book I can write. So if you check out my books, you read them carefully, you'll discover somewhere buried deep in that book somewhere is a train.
Awesome.
So much for being a train buff, huh?
Yeah, right. Wow. Well,
So-
I thank you so much for being on the show because we've run out of time right now. But I mean, you've written so many books that we could be here all day, literally, and interested in everything because it's so meticulous. You have taken so much time to put so many different things in your book, and so all of your books. And it's like, okay, you got this book, you got that book, you got this, you got that, you got the movie coming out with this one, and it's like, whoa. I mean, literally speaking, I am just so happy to have talked with you and had this interview with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Where can people find your books?
Well, actually, in every entity that sells books sells my books, whether it be Walmart, Target, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Abe Books, Abe Books, Alibris, Rakuten Kobo. If you go to gettextbooks.com, that's the name of the website. They go search throughout the entire world to find out where your books sell. Now they don't necessarily show Barnes and Noble or Target or Walmart or some of these other booksellers, but they do show most of everybody else. So like, for example, if you go Google or if you go to gettextbooks.com today and do a word search on United States Space Force Escudero, Escudero, or Paul D. Escudero, you'll see that for like United States Space Force, there's approximately 140 bookstores. They're not the big ones I mentioned. They're listed there, right? And then, like 51 Reasons to Ask 51 Questions, Soylent Caravan. They got huge, long lists of bookstores all around, probably one close to whoever. If a person's an American living in the United States, there's probably a bookstore near them that they can go get it. If nothing else, they can order it from that bookstore online, and they'll ship the book directly to them. It used to be a thing. I mean, my literary agency, they want my books in bookstores, physical books in physical bookstores. But the reality is that because of the internet, the brick and mortar, it's over. It's all going online. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. So I'd say that 75% of all my books sell online. But here's another thing too that's going to blow your mind. They're gradually going to ebooks. Okay. Not everybody wants a piece of paper in their hand.
Yeah.
There's people that I know that don't want the clutter. They don't want a bunch of books laying around. So they just go buy the ebooks. So the percentage going to ebooks is gradually going, and companies like Kobo and whatnot, Amazon, what have you, the Barnes and Noble, they get the Nook books, right? So they have, and Kobo has wonderful readers, by the way, that you can buy. So all these companies now, they get it. So they're going to provide you a reader at really cheap cost. So you can actually have decent sized fonts to read, and you don't have eye strain, right? So instead of having a font of 13, which is the industry standard, you can be looking at it for 20 or more. So
I hear that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. My goodness, my goodness. Well, we're going to have some kind of a link in the description box below to your books, because you have to. I mean, since it's sold everywhere, I mean, we probably just put your name in a couple of different links, because there's just so many books to talk about that we don't have time. But I want to thank you so much.
If you just Google Paul D. Escudero, Escudero, and go to images, there's all those images. Just click on them and it'll take you right to the bookstore.
We will have the Google link in the description box below. How about that?
That's great. And then, of course, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. I have 2 Facebook accounts. One's Paul Escudero. The other is Paul D. Escudero, which is set up for my books. The D is for the books. Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm there everywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Paul. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.
All that.
I dare to be different. I dare.